where the sky meets the sea. This story is in 5 parts. Please look in our page for the remaining parts. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Part 3. Crossroads. Evelyn didn't expect it to be easy. Reopening the door to someone who once let her slip through the cracks felt like balancing on a wire between memory and hope. But there was something in Aiden's quiet determination, in the way he showed up, not with flowers or grand gestures, but with small, steady acts that made her brave enough to try. They started with coffee, once a week, then twice. He never pushed. He never asked for anything more than her time. They talked about art and work, and the people they used to be. He told her about Portugal, the mural, the chaos, the loneliness. She told him about the silence after he left and how she'd filled it with court cases and cold dinners. They were relearning each other, and it felt strangely like falling again, more cautious, more aware, but real. One Sunday morning, after they shared pancakes and laughter in a corner diner, Aiden stopped walking. "Do you ever think," he said slowly, "that maybe we needed to fall apart? To figure out how to carry our own weight before we could carry each other's?" Evelyn looked up at him, the winter sun catching in her eyes. "I think, maybe, but it doesn't mean it didn't hurt like hell." He nodded. "No, it doesn't." They stood there in silence for a beat. Then she reached out, took his hand in hers. "Let's not try to erase what happened. Let's just grow from it." Aiden smiled, threading his fingers through hers like it was the most natural thing in the world. By March, he was leaving sketches again. Little ones, folded into her bag at work, tucked in library books she'd mentioned, hidden in her coat pocket. Tiny drawings of things he remembered she loved. A steaming cup of tea, a lighthouse, a bench by the pier where they'd once sat watching the stars. Sometimes there were words scrawled beneath them. "I still see you. Some moments they. Us in another timeline. But maybe this one too." She kept them all. One evening, Evelyn invited him over to her apartment for dinner. "I should warn you," she said, setting plates on the table, "I haven't cooked anything more complicated than pasta in 6 months." Aiden grinned. "I once lit a toaster on fire trying to make Pop-Tarts. The bar is low." They ate. They talked. When the meal was done, they stood in the kitchen, washing dishes side by side, sleeves rolled up, water sloshing onto the floor. And somewhere between the clink of plates and the rhythm of quiet music playing in the background, Evelyn looked over and felt her breath catch. He was still Aiden, still a little wild, a little wounded, but he was here. He had chosen to stay, and she wanted to believe in that again. So she kissed him, soft, slow, familiar, and new all at once. They didn't call it getting back together. There were no declarations, no dramatic ultimatums, just a slow, unfolding rhythm. Days that blended, nights that stretched, inside jokes reborn and routines remade. They visited the beach again in early April. The cottage hadn't changed. The sea hadn't either, but Evelyn had, and so had Aiden. They walked the shoreline in silence, the wind tugging at their sleeves. "You know," she said, stopping near the dunes, "the day you left for Portugal, I almost ran after you. I almost changed my mind." He looked at her, startled. "Why didn't you?" "Because I was scared of losing myself again. I just found a way to breathe after everything with Luke. And I didn't want to lose that." Aiden nodded slowly. "I would have stayed, if you'd asked." "I know," she whispered. "And that's why I couldn't." They stood there a moment, the tide rolling in around their feet. "Do you ever wish we hadn't fallen apart?" he asked. Evelyn glanced at him, eyes soft. "Sometimes. But then I look at us now and I think maybe this version is stronger." Later that night, they sat on the porch wrapped in blankets. Aiden pulled out his sketchbook. "Draw me?" she asked, half teasing. He tilted his head. "Only if you promise not to blink too much." As he drew, Evelyn watched his hands, the way they moved with memory, with love. "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" she asked suddenly. He paused, hopefully still sketching, maybe teaching more. "Maybe," he glanced up, "still beside you. If you'll have me." Her heart tightened. "You're asking about the future?" "I'm not great at it, but I'm trying." She reached over and touched his cheek. "I'd like that. A future with you." But life, as it often does, had other plans. A week later, Aiden got an offer. A major studio in Seattle wanted him to lead a public art initiative. 2 years. Full creative freedom. A dream job. He told her over dinner, eyes cautious. "I haven't decided yet. I need to know where you stand." Evelyn stared at her plate. Do you want to go? I want to stay with you. But I also want this. It feels like a chance I might not get again. Then you should take it. His brows furrowed. Even if it takes me away? She hesitated. Aiden, if we're going to work, really work, it can't be conditional on proximity. It has to be about trust. But what if long distance breaks us again? She reached for his hand. Then we find our way back again, like we did before. Aiden exhaled slowly. Are you sure? I'm sure of you. He left in May. This time, there were no unanswered texts, no slow silences. Just calls, video chats, handwritten letters that arrived folded into brown envelopes. They missed each other fiercely, but they were growing, too. Evelyn visited him twice. They painted a wall together in a Seattle neighborhood, ate too much Thai food, fell asleep with laughter still on their lips. And each time they parted, it felt less like goodbye and more like see you soon. By winter, Evelyn had begun looking at art school applications, not for a career change, just a class or two, something to wake up the colors in her again. On New Year's Eve, she stood on a rooftop back in the city, watching fireworks bloom across the sky. Her phone buzzed. Aiden, turn around. She did. There he was. No bags, no brushes, just him. I'm home, he said, breathless. She blinked. You what? I asked to transfer the project. They said yes. I don't want to chase dreams if you're not part of them. She crossed the space between them, wrapped her arms around him. I've been waiting for you to come home, she whispered. I was always coming back to you, he replied. And as the sky lit up behind them, Evelyn smiled. They were no longer the people they used to be, but maybe they were finally becoming the people they were meant to be. Together. Please check in the playlist for part 4, The Bridge.